had to come to town, and as I'm driving, I start to kind of reflect on my past a little bit, and I'm called to a time when I had operated my business for a couple of years, and I started with absolutely nothing, and I built up a pretty cool little operation. And I had been contacted by a global player to develop a joint venture plan. And so after a couple of weeks of researching and building a plan with the help of some pretty impressive folks, really, emperors definitely in the industries, I took this plan and I approached a local bank, a local branch of a big bank with this plan, and they heard me out. I asked them for $1.2 million to begin the construction of a recycling facility in an area that doesn't have access to that type of industry. And much to my surprise, they didn't tell me no. They asked for more information, and through multiple conversations, quite a bit of hope developed in this little plan. So, feeling confident enough, I approached my counterpart at the time to let her know what I had going on. But instead of being excited or supportive, really, she became withdrawn, and I couldn't understand at the time really what was happening. But this particular moment in time became the beginning of what would be my awakening to what had been occurring in my life for quite some time, and the motivation behind it. So, fast forward a couple of days, and she had stopped coming home at night, and I'm sitting outside of the apartment complex that we're staying at. About 3 o'clock in the morning, there's a shooting. I had just seen some guys walk to the back of the building, and gunshots rang out. And when this happened, I'm just sitting there, and I heard it, and I saw what happened. And a few minutes later, I'm going to say 30 minutes later, the police drive by and start questioning everybody about what had happened. There were other people outside at the time. Well, I tell them what I saw, and that's not only my right, but my responsibility as a father living in an apartment complex where the kids sleep at night. You're damn right, I'm going to tell them what I saw. So, I'm a felon, and I can't keep a gun. I can't protect my family. I have to depend on the police. I don't have a choice. So, taking that into consideration, I hope nobody judges me too bad. I did what I thought was right at the time. So, that's how that went down. And then a couple of days later, and she had finally come home a little while after that. A couple of days later, same thing happens again. Well, this time, she left me home with the kids again, disappeared. I reach out to a former customer of mine that I had become close with, and that particular customer is going to become a topic of conversation in future videos because of the fact that this was an unseen hand occurring in the grand scheme of things in my life, which I had no idea about. But I reach out to this customer and explain to her what's going on, not knowing she was well aware, the whole time. But she played the supportive friend and came over and mediated the situation. And I just I took my backpack. You know, I got a computer out of there. I took my backpack, my cell phone, my puppy, and hit the road. You know, I didn't have any money or vehicle at the time. I just left. The following day, not knowing what I was going to do, a fortuitous event occurred, and I was offered money for my website, which I took because I really didn't have another choice. Hindsight, you know, it all came together for the opposition side very, very clever. Anyway, that was just the very beginning of the road that I've walked down, and I just needed to share it and get it off my chest. You know, there's going to be another video to expound further and tell the rest of the tale, but I'm going to stop it right here. I'd love to hear y'all's opinions, and if anybody has any information that can help me to understand the situation a little bit better, man, feel free to DM me. Thanks.